Hi everyone, I'm Giovanna and I am with Jade. It's her first podcast, and we invited Daniel Pinto from Spain, and he works for it on IT Sports. And hi Daniel, if you could tell a little bit about you.
Hi, Joanna. How are you guys? I don't know if you want to introduce myself directly or you want to. I don't know if
Yes,
Marcelo
you
wants
you
some words.
you
I don't
can
know.
tell about you can
Because,
tell about you. It's better.
okay, fantastic.
Yeah, no one better than you to speak, right?
Okay,
So.
fantastic. Basically, in my case, I represent ITTI Sports. That is an institution that is working in three main targets. That is football law, that is sports management, and that is esports and gaming management. And I believe that's why we are here to talk about the esports and gaming industry. And basically, I started the ITTI Sports like 4 or 5 years ago because we started even before in my case, for 11 years working at other university that is called ISD, is where I started and I learned a lot from the student business industry. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank
That's really
you.
nice that you brought like the ESD first, and then your first touch was actually with law, and then you moved to esports. Was there any reason like that call your attention to go to esports?
Actually, because 2016, 2015, I remember that. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, but I work
Mm-hmm.
in a family that everyone is a lawyer. Is in this case is a university that creates many lawyers in different areas, and just because I'm a gamer and I love fun, say why we don't just get inside of the industry of gaming esports and see more, and why we don't create professionals. So at that time, I was thinking, okay, I think in a really top university, it's a good time to start this master, and we were the first in Spain. And now, of course, with esports, I continue the same. We have the esports gaming management program. After 5 years, we have a top editions every year. We work very close with ISF, with the International Esports Federation, with a top
Mm-hmm.
that is from Boban and Simona. And yes, that's what we'll continue, to try to create talent. And that's what we love in esports, and it's what we do.
That's
That's
nice.
amazing. And growing up, did you always imagine yourself working with sports, or was something you see first as a hobby and then you say like, okay, I can be professional in that?
Actually, I was thinking just it was more a hobby because I like it, the industry, and I like the environment, the people who is the professionals who are working in the sports gaming industry are
Mm-hmm.
much friendly if you compare to another different industries. So yes, it was a hobby, but of course now could be professional because you have many areas that you can work on the esports and gaming industry. So 100%, it's an industry that step by step is growing.
That's
Mhm. I'm
amazing.
I'm I'm curious because you said you're a gamer yourself. What do you like to play? I'm curious about that.
League of Legends, but for sure,
Oh,
always Dota 2 with my brother.
oh,
Ah,
okay, nice,
I don't want to say that I'm good, but and I'm not, but I love the game.
nice. Very surprised. I thought you were gonna say like Counter Strike or I don't
Actually,
know.
I started with Counter Strike. I
I
should
am
say
more
that.
Oh,
Counter-Striker player, not
same.
Dota or LoL. Like I prefer Counter-Strike.
Yes, same.
Um, Was there any specific moment you realized this is the industry I want to build my career in, and you decide to create something like with a big impact as it is part, or it came more natural, or is another way?
I think it was natural because we started with one guy that is Arturo from Encom. He was managing a lot of things in esports in Spain. I don't know how we were in touch. We started the first master here in the university, and then after like 10 years in this industry, I just want to be around because I like the environment. That's something that calls me more. As I said before, when you are with people that is friendly, everything is easy. So that's what I really like from the environment of the sports. That is completely different from other sports that I know. And as well, I love to work in football because it's something that we love in IT sports. But I much prefer the sports.
Great.
Interesting. I have Marcelo here trying to say that he played professional in Dota. So
Uh,
yeah, just so you know, he's my boss, so I have to tell that.
I can tell Marcelo that we can play one day, but he cannot expect too much from me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have a question about your biggest lessons, like when you started in this professional field. What is something like that you learned when you first started? Like something that you realized you needed to have in order to work with esports?
I can say people, and you need to know how to create relation with people, to create business. You need people for sure. So being able to have these soft skills that are able to, give you access to people, how to get inside, how to start a conversation, how to create this relation, how to not lose this conversation or this relation from future, because you can start something in one event, but if it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting contact to develop something, you have to keep be in touch with this person, so not
True.
losing contact, as well is very important. I don't know, depending on your, let's say, work duties. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe that knowing how to create relations with people is, for me, one of the key factors worldwide. Because nowadays with the AI, everything will be much easier and everyone will have the same skills. But creating relations is something that itself you have to develop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. Um, I have a question about your when you first start in the game industry. Have you realized it was such a big industry to invest? And how is the difference for you from esports and gaming in esports?
I mean, I can say that the ones who create the games are the ones who have the cake, the big
Mm-hmm.
piece of the cake, because they have, it's like when you are like a kid and you are the owner of a ball, you are the one who will decide who plays with you or not. So the good ones are going to be with you. That's the
Mm-hmm.
easy point. And when you finish because your dad or your mom is calling you, you have to leave the school, you are going with your game, and you go out from the school, so nobody is going to play. So this is
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same. You are going to be able to organize tournaments, and when you want, you say, we are not going to do tournaments here. Why? Because I decide I have the ball, I have the game, I'm the publisher. So that's basically
Mm-hmm.
in between two of them.
Yeah. And would you
Mm,
say that this thought of creating connections, connecting to people, or being along with people who understand the field, do you think that motivated you to co-found the ET Sports?
I would say it is sports in this case because it is sports is because the idea of continue creating talent in all of the industries. But
Mm-hmm.
so I will not say that esports give me the okay because I love esports and gaming. I want to create esports. No, in this case, no. We are like deciding actually to create esports because we love the idea of create talent in different industries like such as like football law, esports, on sports management because this
Mm-hmm.
is something that we love. That's simple.
Yeah.
great. And looking back, what surprised you most about how the gaming ecosystem evolved?
How the ecosystem evolve right now? I mean, now the bubble that was gigantic the last 5 years reduced a lot, and now just few countries still in the same bubble. Like of course, Saudi that is investing everything in there. Um, I don't know, China and Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So everything now is stabilized. I think that's something that the industry needs, like more chill, not expect like we are going to be big and big every year, like 100%. It's important. I mean, the bubble was like too big, and everyone was talking like, yes, we are growing like too much. Now I think the bubble is like reduced a lot, and now everything
Mm-hmm.
has to be step by step. So just a matter of time that people will talk more about the sports and gaming. Now people is like let's say more silent because many people realize that it's not that much money in the industry.
Yeah.
Only few
Yes.
places have money for that. But still, the sports and gaming is going to grow for sure.
And
Yeah.
how would you
Since
say
pandemics.
how is the Spain community, like how they are, if they are very involved in gaming?
I think the
Because
structure.
I know they are involved with sports, but gaming I never hear about it.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Actually, the structure of Spain, I think, is well structured. Of course, regarding esports, they have a good, professional leagues and good teams that are in European worldwide tournaments. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, gaming. I mean, few places are like top on that, so I will not mention that. And yes, Spain have to learn, and that's
Mhm.
part of the process.
Yes, makes sense.
Currently, I'm curious. Like currently at ET Sports, do you have more international students, or you have people more from Barcelona?
100% are international profiles. Actually,
Wow.
we have people from everywhere. Doesn't matter where they are part of the family of ET Sports, and that's our goal to be everywhere. And actually, our idea is to expand ET Sports. We're going to be in the market of Saudi Arabia, we are going to be in the market
Mm.
of Malaysia, and we are going to also open in Ecuador. So in this year, we
Oh.
are going to grow a lot in Latam, in MENA, and in Asia, in this case, in Malaysia.
Hmm. Very, very like different
Oh,
places, right? Saudi Arabia and Ecuador, but it's strategic, right? I imagine that's the
Yeah, it's
reason.
because we have alumni in these places that they also demand that it will be good to have presence from us. They help us also to develop IT
Yeah.
sports. And yeah, I mean our idea is to be connected and try to create relations and try to create a business between the alumni and our professors. So that's a mix of let's say we are not classical university, we are a boutique that is growing every year. Um,
Hmm.
we try to be
mhm.
more small, size like 25, 30 people in class, and this help us, to grow like, a normal bubble, not like the sports bubble from the beginning. Just try to step by step and, create this family that really take care of it, and we take care of them. So just step by step as well.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's great
Yeah. That's important.
because I think because it's remote, so it can expand a lot, and in the right place, a lot of people will create something big. So I think what you did,
Hmm.
it's something very good and with impact. So I would like to know what is the biggest challenge do you have managing international programs in each sport?
Actually, the big one is like we have to make it well known everywhere. Like and of course, when you want to get inside of in each market, it's completely difficult because you have a lot of like established well universities. We are not a university that have 100 years, so we have
Mm-hmm.
1,000 millions universities that are our competitors. But in esports, that is true that I can say we are one of the best, and we have only 5 years of existence. So I think we work pretty well in these areas. But because our professors are not academics, so we have
Mm.
part of the industry who are the ones who teach. And when you have the owners of different, top brands in the industry of gaming or like esports, this helps you a lot to make people understand that why it's good to study at IT sport because you have a good connections, you see problems that are reality and solution of these problems. We say always that if you want to read something, you have a lot of
Your microphone is it's a little
It's slow now for me a little.
yes.
Hmm. Right?
Yeah,
can you,
just change it.
Oh, it's better now.
yeah, I don't know, eh?
Yes,
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
now it's
perfect.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So basically this,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting. And I think. Sorry, you're gonna say something.
no,
Oh,
it's okay.
I was just thinking like that. Again, like making connections, it's important, and also when you expand such a huge institution like ET, that's gonna bring lots of new perspectives. And yourself, like you worked and you study actually in Madrid, Barcelona, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, London and New York, right? So those things, I'm sure, like they gave you unique perspectives. So what differences stood out for you in these different markets, like in terms
Actually,
of esports?
I work in Barcelona, Madrid, New York, and London. These four
Hmm.
places, actually, of course, Barcelona was hometown, so was like I cannot say that I learn a lot in Barcelona because in the end, it's my city. But
Yeah.
moving to Madrid gives me more perspective. When you are not at home, it's different. When you jump to London, it was more like about okay, I'm still near to home, but everything is different, language is different, culture is different. We have to work my interior to understand the people from here, how to create relations because I have to start like new friends, etc.
Hmm.
But New York, because in there I was like 3 years, New York was different because it was like okay, I'm like 7 8 hours from home by plane. You don't take a plane like okay, I'm going this weekend for enjoy. Like you take maybe one a year or two planes a year. So you really need to create your own life. You have to create your
Yes.
own business, then self create a lot of skills to survive in New York because New York is a city. So you have connect WhatsApp. I don't know if you hear.
Don't worry about it.
So I just at that time I was like okay, you have to survive the city. Everyone is like a shark. So
Hmm.
try to be, or at least to not be a small fish. So that's something that when you are inside of this, life, I remember that everyone was thinking big, trying to, do it more and more and more every day. This gives you a lot of perspective.
Hmm.
Also, and I was learning a lot from people that was much much better than me, and that gives you a lot of like skills.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Being able to adapt, it's always a challenge. But I think you said it right. Like once you are out of your safe spot, like out of your country, as you said, you have to learn how to survive, and that's gonna help you like figure things out over the time. But that's interesting. Like adaptability is important in any sector.
For sure.
Mm.
Hmm.
And how much did the education shape your view of the sports business?
How much? Sorry, how much?
How much did the education shape your view of the sports business?
I didn't understand the question. What do you mean, like how I see the business now? Can you?
How the education like change your mind and for the sports business, like how did you know like I would say education is important for sports business and you
Um,
decide about like
I
to
I really
personalize the people.
yes. I mean, I really. I mean, I cannot say that education is not important for someone first because I'm selling education, and it will be not
Yeah.
really coherent from my side to say no, it's not important. But of course, if you want to learn something, you have to study. That's a basic thing. That is true that I always focus on the practice. That's why our
Hmm.
professionals teach you in a practical way because I really want that people understand what it's like being inside of one company or another. So then you really understand. It's not like learning by study, but it's more learning by practice or doing. So that philosophy is something that I really believe that if you do something, you learn something. You can learn,
Hmm.
like study something, and yes, maybe the theory is good to have a base. But when you
Yes.
practice something, you realize if you know how to do it or not. Because you have people that after 5 years as a lawyer, they go to an office and they don't know what to even to draft a contract. So you need to do
Yeah.
that to be able to develop and to see, okay, I understand how to do that. Then I'm a valuable asset to a company.
Yes,
Hmm.
and I think like I don't know how it is in the Spain industry, but in Brazil, I feel like people who work is on gaming specifically, they are not like very studied. Like they don't study, they are not very professional in this area of education. So sometimes they just have the experience, or they are like big fans of the sports they follow the community, and then they got the opportunity, but they are not professional in education. So this is why I ask, because I think like education is very important to you professionalize yourself, to you develop yourself. I think education and experience needed to work together.
Yeah.
But in Brazil, we don't see this happen like in game industry.
I
Hmm.
mean, it's like, for example, everyone knows Neymar. Neymar is a fantastic player, right, from Brazil. Do you think Neymar is able to do the accountability of Corinthians or Palmeiras or such a these clubs? Do you think he will be able? No, of course not. He is top player. Yes, he is. He's able to run and manage a club? No, impossible. But he can do because he's Neymar. So that's the problem of the industry. Because you are a good player doesn't mean that you are a good management or you are a good marketer. So
Yes.
in gaming or esports industry, it's exactly the same. You can be a top gamer. This doesn't give you
Hmm.
the knowledge to run a club and to find sponsors, to negotiate sponsors. To do that, you have to learn. The best way, learning by doing, my opinion. The best way, if you are lucky, to be inside of a club or inside of a company that is working in the esports industry or gaming, and then you are going to develop yourself by doing.
Yeah.
The audio is bad again. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's back. Yeah. I have a question from the public watching us right now, the live, and they want to know a little bit more about ET Sports and how the selection to be a professor, to be a teacher at ET Sports, how does it happen? Like,
To be a professor of ET, basically
mm-hmm,
first you have to be part of the industry. So if you're part of the industry and I meet you, then I see your profile, depending on how you are, how you talk, how you express, what you know. I will be able to say to the professor that is inside or not. But basically, the main rule is you have to be part of the industry already to have at least 5, 6 years, depending of the sector of the topic that we need.
mm-hmm. Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Um, so if you could tell us a little a bit, how does it support professional growth and employee development?
I mean, what we do for students, we try to always be connected, but still, it's impossible to say to everyone, yes, you are going to be inside of IT, you are going to study with us, and you are going to have a job. That is something that is impossible to say, even if I love the idea. But the only thing that we can do is first creating new contacts for our students. Second, give them a valuable learning by doing
Mm-hmm.
problems. So they really understand the industry. And third, try to be connected always because sooner or later they are going to need some letter of from ET or from our professors that hey, can you ask me a recommendation from this professor from my side? Yes, we do that because we want them to find a job. But yes, we don't say like that's the difference between many universities that are always saying yes we you will find a job for everyone and everything. We cannot say that because it's not true.
Yes,
This is something that the markets will tell the truth, not us. So that's it. We have many people working in the industry, so this is the market, and we have opinions, but the market have the real opinion.
yes, that's true. And
I,
how is you ask something you can say?
I was thinking like if you have any thoughts on for example, I was thinking now that nowadays the market for esports is growing, right? We know that since pandemics, it's like escalating like super fast. Do you think that's because people are more interested in playing like for entertainment, or do you think it's actually a result of more investments in the area?
I'm sure because the investment that came, like, the last 10 years was a lot of investment. And somehow, you create some structures in different countries that stabilize something that is important. That is the structure of each country to understand that the sports and gaming industry is something that could grow, could help a lot of things. And I mean, the benefits of both industries are gigantic. And many companies knows, many countries knows, and they try to be connected somehow. Um, I mean, for schools nowadays, you have a lot of programs that help, kids to grow and to learn more, because that is true that some generations nowadays, they don't like to study.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
making some games that they think they are only, playing something, but in the end they are learning something, and it's helping in many ways. Of course, you have the problem of like, okay, but my kid is playing, and like 15 hours a day, is having a big problem. I mean, if you have the worst scenario, it's like what you prefer. Some kid that is having parties with drugs, or a guy that is playing like 15 hours. Both are very bad. But if you have to pick
Yeah.
one, of course, I prefer my kid playing like 15 hours and not be, somehow with drugs. Saying that, of course, you have to be able to teach your kids and to learn your kids that you have to play like normal average hours, just to enjoy. But you don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
addicted. And this is something that is part of the education of the schools and also at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agree. Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
I want to know a little more about the internship at the IT, if you could explain a little more how it works, and even from esports management and also for the gaming master.
Okay, for the esports and gaming, the internship basically works or streaming, because in the end, people they don't want to travel.
Mhm.
So in case they don't want to travel, it's okay. We other industry is impossible, but in esports or gaming, it's really easy to do streaming things and to work in streaming, because you have already the culture of working at home. So this
Mm-hmm.
is the easiest way. In case we have someone that wants to travel, it's always a possibility. This from the esports and gaming, and from the sports management, or from the footballer in this case, we do the same. So it's a
Yeah.
streaming, and in case they want to, spend money to go to the place, they can do that.
It's
Do
awesome.
you think there is any gap like in the industry of esports that ET and you are trying to solve? Like, oh, these let's say like there's a really good institution, they have this and that, but like you guys are trying to focus on something like more specific.
Actually, because that is true that the market is not that huge
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be more specific. I have a lot of ideas that, okay, we have to run, and we can maybe create a master, but the reality of the market is like, we need to be like how can I say, like, when you have, I don't know, when you have a mastering community, fathers and mother will say, okay, I can pay you this master. But when you say yes, sports and gaming, father and mother will say, okay, I think this is like you want to have fun. No, I'm not going to pay you that. So
Mm-hmm.
we need more time until families will understand that this is real job. That like football, you have the bench warmer as well, and you have 5 teams. You have like a lot of people inside. You have the nutritious guy. You have you have to go to the gym. You have to be working in there. You have to have a psychology. The teams are very big, but behind that you have a lot of people who needs to create like a new structure for the team, statistics for the next year, how to get more sponsors, how to negotiate them, and you have many things. You have to take care of the players, travel things, so you can have like agency for players. You have a lot of jobs around the sports and gaming, but families have to understand this, and this means time.
Mm-hmm.
So time will talk. As I say, I can have a lot of ideas inside of the sports industry. AI in esports and gaming is going to explode, because you have a lot of tools that are going to help and are going to grow. But I cannot jump with an AI esports master, because I can add some hours in our commercial, because we have a very commercial esports. It's like very global. Okay, whatever. If you're interested in one topic inside of the esports or gaming, you can study with us, because we touch all of the topics. We would like to have more specific. Yes. Do we have the market to go and have students? No. So we don't jump with that yet.
Okay. Yes, it's hard to break ideologies, right? Especially like with people who are not used to technologies. So I understand like the concerns of trying to tell parents or trying to tell someone that is supporting a kid that, let's say, he wants to go in the field of esports, but he wants to understand it first, and then it's hard to have someone like giving you the right financial support to do that, and then saying like just go. Yeah, I understand.
Time will teach everyone.
Mm,
So it's something that
Yeah.
we can talk with fathers and mothers of the students that sometimes, oh, my father don't believe this. Can we talk? Yes, of course, we can talk with them and we can explain more. So maybe they will be really interested. They will be very interesting for the area and for the what we do. But it's not,
Hmm.
you cannot talk with everyone. They have to
Yeah.
discover. And nowadays, if you talk like 15 years ago, people about community manager, what is this? Nah, I don't believe that. But now community manager is something very normal. Everyone knows what is this job. And no one is like, really, you are going to study this? Why? No, nobody say that, because everyone understands what it means. So esports and gaming will need time, but will be the same.
yeah,
True.
that's
It's
very
true.
true. I have a question from the public. It's Luca Benezi. He is asking, which regions are most underestimating sports today?
So can you repeat? Sorry,
Which
which
which regions are most underestimating sports today?
which you mean province?
Regions.
Region.
Regions.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
sorry, sorry,
No,
my
no worries. No,
pronounce.
no, no, my
No,
mistake.
no,
No
no,
worries.
no. You're good. You're good.
Which are underestimated? To be honest, I don't know. I don't want to say something. What is? That's a good question. I mean,
Yeah,
of
it's
course,
it's
everyone is, for example, talking about Saudi, but I believe UAE, that is just a neighbor, is growing so fast as well. And they are also invested a lot of money. But people is only talking about Saudi. Could be an easy example. But you have many examples. I mean, many countries wants to be inside, but the problem is they don't know how to develop. So they have the money, but they are, just waiting, which is the moment to start something, to create this structure. So you have many. I think you have many countries. I believe Spain. Spain have a lot of structure. People that love gaming industry and esports, and is growing. So for you, everyone is talking about China, Korea, because they are top, and nobody is going to say the opposite. But you have many countries that could grow, and of course Brazil as well. You have like the industry in Brazil is huge. So
yeah.
Yes,
Do you think ET is going to expand um, to South America? Like I know you mentioned Ecuador, but do you have any other countries like in mind in South
act-
America?
actually, we have Peru and Chile in
Mm.
mind, because we have alumni that are pushing us to go and grow in there, and they are working on that. And here in Ecuador, yes, we have already a partnership that will be soon, released as well in Malaysia, in Asia, and in Saudi, because we have to be in Saudi and to start everything in
Yes.
Arabic. So we will be in there very soon. Regarding Brazil, it will be like a good market for being in there. But of course, we have to be with alumni as well related, because we don't want to do nothing without our alumni. So we see that
Yes.
not a classical university. So if we create a business, it's good for everyone, and for everyone that is part of IT Sports. So if we have alumni from Brazil that they want to develop IT Sports, and they also want to generate money, so happy to create something and to study the market and how we can create something in there that is profitable for everyone, to be scalable. So I mean, the education business is not only focused on education. You have
Hmm.
many things around education. That is how we do in IT Sports.
Yes.
all right. And from that, I would like to know how the difference from building an education insti- institution
Yeah.
compared to building a startup. How is the difference?
I mean, to be honest, it's not that much different, because in the end, startup is almost the same. It's a company that you are planting the seed. You start, working hard, no matter what. You are working Monday to Sunday. Chinese rule is like to say 996. That is like 9 a.m. to 9 nights.
Oh gosh.
I was doing 9 and 7 because I was working every day.
Yeah.
Still, I work every day, Monday to Sunday. You have to love what you do, then you are going to be able to grow. Because people say, yeah, I want to make 1 million euros, blah, blah. But if you realize, okay, if I want to make this money, how I can make this money? You have to, do your process, but you have to be able to understand that you cannot have the same life every weekend, having a social moment with your friends, like every Sunday with your family. You have to really put what you have to put in front of you to work hard and to work smart and to do process. Okay, until here I have to achieve this, until here this, then you can achieve this million that you have in mind. But if you want to achieve 1 million euros and then you want to say, nah, but I want to do whatever, at 6 I'm going home, at Saturday I have my friend's party, at Sunday I have my family dinner. You can do that, but you are not going to be, I believe, able to achieve whatever goal you have in mind.
Yes, it's true. You have to know how you build in that and love what you do, for sure.
Yes. Some people have really good ideas, and that's why I think we have so many startups nowadays. But if you don't put the right effort in, if you don't actually design your path and start working on it, then it's going to be a startup forever. So to create an
Yes.
institute, it takes more time.
I mean, it's. I mean, I have friends that they are workaholic Monday to Sunday. They create startups, and even if they are in this mood, they don't success. You know,
Yeah,
um, why? You have many whys. Like it
many.
was not the time. It was you advanced too much to the moment. I don't know. The market have a lot of competitors already. You are not giving something different from them.
Mhm.
Your prices, whatever. You have many things that will make you not success. How many startups start? And maybe what 90% are not success, or maybe
Yeah.
more. I don't know exactly the data, but it's something like this. So to be lucky enough to survive,
Hmm.
because you have a everything is like count, and of course you can have like a lot of like lucky, you can work a lot, and you can, I don't know, many factors make you survive in this industry that is full of sharks. So you have to survive and try to achieve your goals.
Yes.
Yeah. And still talking a little bit about ET Sports, I have a question now in mind. And I know you recently started like being involved in initiatives, like in expanding the institute for emerging regions, as is the case of Africa, South Africa. And why do you think that's important, like in your opinion?
First, because we have a lot of alumni. So as I say, for me, alumni or students are the key
Hmm.
for growth in education. In my case, in IT Sports, so we try to really link with them. If they want to do something with us, we want to do something with them. Why
Hmm.
to not create something in different countries and develop? In this case, esports is like many like empty countries without the structures. And when we have our masters with people from different countries that this country didn't start something solid, they have a huge gap to create something big and to create something and develop something very fast because they have the knowledge. We give them the knowledge, the key of the contacts to start wherever they have, in mind, they can do it. So that's why we expand in Africa because we are lucky. We have good profiles from there. I
Good.
mean, Africa is gigantic. You can put Africa
Yes,
inside Europe, and you can put I don't know like America for sure. It's like
Yeah.
gigantic country,
it's
a continent.
huge.
But when you see Mapa Mundi, you see Africa that looks like it's not big, but it's like three continents together. So it's gigantic.
It's massive. Yeah, that's true.
Um, Talking about like advice for the people, many people focus on network first, other focus on skills. But if you had to choose just one thing to master early in your career, what did you will focus?
To choose between working Or to develop a skill, you mean?
Network or skills?
I mean,
Sure.
when you work, you develop a skill. So I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly which to decide. I mean, I always believe that working makes someone understand what you like, what you hate. So
Mm.
this will be my start. I think
Mhm.
working on something is very important. As soon as you know what you like or what you hate, you are able to say, okay, I need to develop these skills. Then you start developing the skills, just to not lose time. I mean, in terms of like how to not lose time, better work. You work 3 months, 4 months, you will know exactly what you love and what you don't. So then you know exactly, okay, I love this. Okay, I'm going to focus on this skill so I could be better. And then when you define your skills, I always say people maybe try to be good in many skills. I am more like if you are good in these two skills, try to focus on these skills to be the master of this. So then you will, be better in something from sure from another people. But
Yes,
my
and I think like when you're developing yourself and working a lot, you have the right connections because you create something big. So I
True.
think it works because if you are developing yourself, people you recognize that.
yes, that's for sure. But I mean, in the end, I tell to everyone that you have to work for your own, not what people think about you, because the one that is going to enjoy the success is yourself and your family or your friends that you have around. So what people think about you, I mean, I also learned in my life that if you realize that the people opinion doesn't matter, when you realize, because it's very like people say, no, I don't care, but people care. When you really
Yes.
don't care about what people say, that's
No.
really different point of
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
many people is
We're
going to tell you something about you sooner or later, even if they don't know you. That this is typical. But if you really achieve that, it's a good goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was thinking here, and I think people who are watching us right now, they might be thinking it. But what do you think is the necessary skill to be part of ET? And what do you think people need to have?
To be passionate, if they are passionate in sports management, in the football industry, fantastic. If you're passionate in the esports and gaming industry, fantastic. You are welcome. Because then when you are like you love something, you work hard in something. Nowadays, that people don't really work hard. It's difficult to find this.
Mhm.
When you find someone that really loves these areas of the industries, that's the key factor to see someone that is going to work for sure.
Yeah. We're almost closing the podcast. So I think one of the questions that we like to make, to ask, sorry, it's what's one advice that you could give to someone that is trying to break in the esports today?
Try to apply to many places, because the no is always in there. That's for sure. And as soon as you achieve one place, try to enjoy a lot and try to ask always to more. People sometimes when they get inside of a job, they give a task, and after they finish, they don't ask for more. So you have to really ask for more every time. Doesn't matter if it's Sunday. Try to ask more. That's many people go to 9 to 6, they leave job, that's it. If you are doing an internship, you have the possibility to learn. It's like making a master. So you are going to be able to learn. You are going to be able to be in this place. Try to ask jobs all the time. Give me more. I just finished. This will give you first thing a lot of knowledge, reality
Mhm.
of the market, and for last, we'll give you proper view from the boss that you will have. This person is like working hard. I like this profile. Maybe they will not have a job for you. I don't know, but I'm sure if you leave this job and you ask a recommendation, this person is going to recommend yourself for sure.
Yeah, true. Mhm.
All right, so we are finishing here. Thank you so much, Daniel, to be part of this episode. We are really excited to have you here. And um, if you have anything to say for the people who is watching, if you have any words.
So just to say thank you for you guys to give me time to talk,
You're
and to
welcome.
everyone that is here, and if they love esports and gaming, if they want to be inside, just to try to enjoy and to have fun in life. Okay.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for
Thank you so
having
much.
us too. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.